Doing what I feel with no regrets. Constantly forgiving, but I'm never gonna forget. Always keeping my composure. I won't let them see me sweat. The only thing that really matters is the power and respect.
So, three, we in the building with the bros. This is the Mac 5 podcast. Welcome. I'm Drew, joined as always by the bros. As I said, we got Jordan in the building. We got Lake in the building, rubbing his hands
What's
like
good?
Birdman.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
We got Austin in the building with the
What's
Monarch
good?
song.
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna put them on the table. Don't worry.
Go ahead, do it right now.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, got the Monarch song.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, with the dingy socks too.
Absolutely. We're gonna get into
And
that.
we got
Those
Lance
the
in the
barbecue
building right here.
things.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what up, y'all? What up?
Handling the audio for us.
Yep.
But so we just gonna, go ahead and get into some more stuff. One thing I like try to, damn, I just stumbled all over my shit. We gonna keep it though, fuck it.
We're going to keep it going.
Yeah, so if you listen to albums normally start at track 3. And that's what we on right now. This track 3. So we about to dive deep into the podcast and get into like some of our stories and all that.
Yep.
So that's what we on. I'm not sure if you caught it in the first episode, but if you heard us introduce ourselves, it was a number missing. And we do have another brother, so we just want to clear that up. I know a lot of people who know our family is like, oh, where's so-and-so at, such and such. We do have another brother. He's on his own path.
They asking
And
me, too.
You said what?
They be asking me, where's 6? Where's number 6? I said, you talking about 6, man? He right there.
Anyways, yeah, so we do have another brother. Just want to make that clear. But like I said, he's on his own path. We on ours. If you know, you know. And from there, we just going to go from there.
Feel me?
So
Keep it rocking.
let's go ahead and get cracking with these. It's kind of like what we on.
man.
I know we want to. Austin was real excited to talk about some of our stories from childhood.
Man, you know what I'm saying? I feel like people need to know, you know what I'm saying, what it was like growing up in a house, a small house, 6 kids, straight boys, nothing but testosterone running around, me having to whoop y'all asses
Come on.
Austin wasn't always this big. Don't get it twisted. We done hammed him up a few times, but it's all good.
That was a genuine laugh. Thanks.
My bad.
That was great.
But nah, we was really excited to get into our stories, and I know Austin was like most excited. So I'm gonna let you kick it off, man. What you got for us?
You know what? I was actually going to toss it to you. You the family historian.
I got one, man. I got one. And it's still up for debate to this day. So we used to share beds growing up.
Man, hold on. Before you do this, are you sure? You sure you want to go down this road?
What you mean?
I agree.
It's too late. He down it now.
Hey, I like this start though. Go ahead.
Wow. So we used to share beds growing up. We had 2 bunk beds and like a little den. 2 people had their own bed up top. 2 people shared each bottom bunk. And me and Austin, we used to share our bottom bunk. And oftentimes,
Y'all was under me, right? I think I was at the top.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah,
Drew
was at
out
the
too,
top.
and then you had yeah.
how old were y'all? How long we had bunk beds?
Forever.
Until we move here.
Remember
like-
they split the den up?
That's like
Oh,
the
yeah.
We were sleeping
yeah.
on the mattress, just straight, no bed for like
Yeah.
2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
This nigga Austin used to pee on me, bro. And they blame me for it every time. I would wake up. Why didn't she wait? Oh, damn.
Let's clarify.
Big ass puddle.
First of all, the reason why me and Lake used to share a bed was because we peed in the bed the most. So it was like, oh no, this is true. So it was like, if anyone gonna pee in the bed, instead of us peeing on someone who doesn't typically pee, you know what I'm saying, in the bed, let's put these 2 in the bed. And to be completely honest with y'all, this is no cap. Lake was the one peeing
Cap.
on me.
There's so much cap going on.
It was, bro.
What makes you think that?
Because my pants were wet from the knee down. Yours was wet from the knee up.
Every time?
Bro, that means it came from you.
Every time.
Hey, bro,
See, bro.
I'm just saying.
Austin's a really good liar. And
I'm not. I'm a
he
terrible
draws
liar.
He draws a crowd in at the same. It's cool. We just gonna, like I said, to
You
this
brought
day,
it up.
To this day, it's for debate.
Nobody's ever going. Let's just say nobody knows the truth,
I will-
except me.
I will wake up in the middle of the night and change clothes, and then I'll get back in the bed, and then in the morning I'll act like Austin. I'm clean. See?
Hey, I never knew that.
Man, what, bro?
I never knew that.
I was clean with it, but
That's messed up.
to this day, it's up for debate. That's just one story.
I don't see how shit like that is up for debate. Like, y'all niggas is pissing in the bed. What's both
Man,
of y'all?
I
That whole
used to-
bed that whole bed was wet, bro. You couldn't tell.
I remember I was like, I don't know, maybe 10 years old. I had stopped peeing in bed up to that point. But 10, 11 years old, I peed in the bed. You know, it was still frequent. First of all, I peed in the bed because I had dreams that I was using the bathroom. That's why. And I don't know if you
I
guys.
had one of them too.
Everybody had them joints. It feels so good too. You like relieving, and then you realize you weren't actually in the bathroom. That's a
Heart drop.
it's a sobering experience. But that's why I peed in the bed so much.
Hey, I got a story. I got a story. So I didn't really have a reputation for peeing in the bed. I was just like everybody's like, I didn't pee in the bed. But it was one time I did, and I didn't say nothing to nobody.
And are you coming clean right now at the big
This is
age of
one time on
31?
the Mac 5 at 31.
That thing leaked through the bunk
I
bed.
woke up in the middle of the night, realized I peed in the bed. But back in that way, kind of, oh shoot. I took a sponge. I took a sponge just to pie so I could try to wipe the shit up.
In the middle of the night?
Middle of the night, bro.
Wow, I had
Can't nobody
no
catch me
idea.
doing it.
See, man, we're
Somehow
gonna
I
be
snuck wash the sheets and nobody knew.
we're gonna be on episode
But it was very few
490.
and far between when it happened with me.
Drew gonna be coming out with secrets at the age of 80.
Right. I never heard Drew peeing in the bed.
Exactly.
Or Jordan. Neither one of y'all.
Nah, he
I've had some moments, bro.
Yeah.
I ain't
he
gonna
peed up. Will Snuggles, you peed up.
Bro, I had a teddy bear when I was so like when I was a kid. I always had this teddy bear. His name was Ruggles.
You had a teddy bear?
I had a teddy bear.
Ruggles.
Yeah, Ruggles.
In middle school?
No,
was
no,
great.
I was a kid.
Baby.
Oh.
I was like you remember if you look at the kids on videos, you'll see me with a teddy bear.
Ruggles.
That's
Mis-
Ruggles.
Mr.
Yeah.
Ruggles.
Mr.
I
Ruggles.
kind of like that name. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie.
that was my little teddy bear. You know what I'm saying? I was wondering what happened to it. Cause like just one day it disappeared. They threw it away, and no one told me why. Later down the line, they told me, "Yeah, you peed in the bed, and that was a casualty. Like you nigga was dripping.
over with.
Your teddy bear was wet, and it was about to get all moldy. You know, we couldn't just throw it. You know, we couldn't take it to the laundromat or whatever, so we tossed it. Gone. So. You know, I've had my
Ruggles.
moments too. I'm not gonna pretend like it.
We've all
I've had my
peed in
moments.
the bed.
I don't remember. I don't think I peed in the bed.
Hey, you want to talk about
You want to go there.
you want to talk about what you did?
Nah, I ain't over here embarrassing myself. That's y'all.
Sure, you know Lance was very quiet during this conversation.
I must say, Lance did not pee in the bed.
Pee.
Man, I guess I gotta say it.
Just
now.
say it, bro. Go ahead.
Man, I used to shit myself.
At school.
At school, man. All right, so I'm gonna tell one story. There's a lot of them, but I'll tell one. Yeah,
Why did you now that you're older? Why do you think you did that so much?
I must have. I don't think I was potty trained correctly. I don't know, cause I really don't have an answer, bro. Like
So you
I'll just sit there, like I could go to the bathroom.
you
but-
sitting here blaming mom and dad?
Man, I don't know, but one time I was at school, and it was the end of the day. I had to take a shit so bad. I don't know why I didn't use the school bathroom. So everybody in the car. It's like a 25-minute drive home.
Yep.
Something like that, yeah.
20 on the streets, 15 on the freeway.
You were like in second grade at the time.
I was in like first. No, I was.
I mean,
I was in
second
third
grade?
grade.
It was Mizakis.
Nah, I had Miss.
Blaine used to do that shit too. It wasn't just you.
It was either second
But
or
go
third
ahead.
grade.
The crazy part is, like, it'll be so quiet in the car.
I didn't get there. Listen, let me finish.
Go ahead, Lance.
So one particular day, we was driving the car, and I had to take a shit the whole time we was in the car, and I held it. I was good, man. As soon as we pulled up in the driveway, I couldn't hold it no more. All of it just came rushing.
I don't know
out.
why it is. Sometimes it's like, you know, you gotta use the bathroom real bad. You in the car.
Yeah.
As soon as you get close to like, you know where the bathroom is at, your body just knows.
It knows.
Your body is like, it's about that
Even
time,
now, it's worse. The commutes when I was at work, driving all the way home, like I would just be like driving and just be like, yeah. Just,
But at least
I
now-
just be thinking in my head like, yo, this too shall pass.
At least now we know how to hold it. I couldn't hold. The closer I got to the bathroom, the harder it was for me. I couldn't hold it. So as soon as it came out, I just started crying, and I think everybody knew what was up with me. I shitted myself.
We knew when Lance started crying,
It's over with.
either he's hurt or he shitted on himself.
I got a lot of stories. I'm not gonna go into
Yeah,
all
we're
of them.
not gonna embarrass ourselves no more. So we that was a cool little start. we're gonna just give like a little bit of family background. We can start with Pops. Where he from? Where he grow up? What type of family he come up in? What y'all got?
Pops.
Go ahead.
I think that's, I mean, it speaks to our family dynamic because obviously he had 11, 12 siblings. It was 13 of them.
10 brothers and
It's
sisters.
10 of them all. He has 9.
In the house that he grew up in.
Okay.
10 brothers and sisters.
And then there's obviously 6 of us. Big family, South Central LA. So met our mom in high school, and they got married very young age, 21. Same age I got married, had a kid at the same age I had a kid, 21 as well. And they kept on going for some reason, man. 6 total kids. Moved us out to Long Beach. Grew up in Long Beach, 13 years. You know what I'm saying? And then we came here. It was 13 years for me. How long was it for y'all? 13, probably
We
14.
moved out here when we was
I was
I
13.
was about to be 15, but we
you
was in
was in
Hawthorne.
Tampa.
Me and Jordan was in Hawthorne first when we was born, and then we was in Compton for a few
That's
years.
when
When
you
that's when you was
was
born, we was in
Yeah.
Compton.
That's why I always tell people, like, I'm from Compton. I'm trying to tell people.
So Pops, they originally from, I know Mother, who is our grandmother's mom. They lived in like Crenshaw and Slauson for a little bit. Then they moved to the 90th Street in Budlong. I want to say 96th and Budlong. And our mom, she's like from the Crenshaw area,
Crenshaw and Jefferson.
Crenshaw and Jefferson. So just a little background where we from.
Yeah, I think there was Dad. They was on 59th and Hoover.
They was on Hoover. They was on Hoover.
Mother
They on
was
Hoover.
she was
No,
over
she was
there
on
by
Crenshaw and
Nipscore.
Slauson.
Yeah, and then
she was-
96 in Normandy.
Yeah.
It's home base.
Yeah.
That's HQ right there.
Yep. So
And then, but the thing was like, they didn't even go to school like in the area. Like they would get bussed out an hour away to the valley.
Yeah,
you
for
know, for high school and stuff. You know, Dad playing football.
Not 95th Street Elementary.
I'm talking about high school.
You mean high school?
Like how they met Mom. You know how they met each other. You know, they met in
Right.
high school. My mom transferred her senior year. She was at Dorsey, I want to say. Transferred from Dorsey her senior year, going to that high school. She a cheerleader. My dad's a football player. So you know you can kind of understand that dynamic right there, how they clicked up their senior year, and you know had their little off and on through college. Got back together. They got pregnant with me. That's when they got married, and that's how the rest of us got here.
The rest is history.
straight up.
It was going crazy.
I be at home. I be at home, like with my 4 kids, and almost every day I think to myself, like, what were Mom and Dad thinking? Having 6 kids. I mean, it's a lot different because we were all boys. So, you know what I'm saying? Growing up in the 90s versus growing up in, like, now, we spend most of our time outside. We was riding bikes, scooters, you know what I'm saying?
Making games up.
Yeah, making up games or whatever. So it had to be a lot easier for them just because we was outside of the house so much. But still, bro, like 6 mouths to feed, 6 clothes, you know what I'm saying? 6 sets of clothes to buy for all your kids, 6 beds.
Ooh.
No,
Hand-me-downs.
Hold on, yeah,
We had hand-me-downs.
They bought us clothes, and y'all got our shit after.
Yeah, y'all got hand-me-downs. I had some of Jordan hand-me-downs too, but we was pretty much the same size.
The only
all
thing
time.
we couldn't hand down was shoes because we used to tear shoes up.
Yeah.
Shoes stood no chance with us.
We had a
so-
pair of shoes, like one pair of shoes per year, maybe.
Yep.
Or every other year.
At the beginning of every school year, one pair of shoes.
beginning of the school year, and then depending on how badly you roughed them up, like we be walking
Nah,
around
it
school,
didn't matter how bad they
toes
were.
flapping, all
My
our socks getting
socks
messed
get a hole.
up.
Every day I wore them shoes with the holes in them. My socks had
Socks
a
had
hole
holes
in
in
them,
them, bro.
straight up.
Yeah.
Holy socks,
You
man.
know
That
what
was
I'm saying? We
tradition.
running around, bruh.
But
If you
nah,
could
I
find a
think-
pair of socks without holes in it, you won that day. every sock got holes in them.
I think an interesting dynamic as far as like what you just brought up, Austin. You was like, how did they raise 6 kids? Like, just imagine, like, I know you get a lot of questions now, like, damn, you got a lot of kids. You got 4 kids and you did all your 20s. Like, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
Imagine like them back then in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s,
In the hood.
having 6 kids in the hood. All they peers, all they friends is, you know, they doing their own thing, and the type of pressure that they got from like everybody around them, just in the nature of their relationship, like y'all moving a little fast, don't you think?
Yep.
And having
Being
all the
frowned
kids back to
upon.
back, like
Yeah.
that's really rare. But for us, that was all we knew. We didn't even realize how crazy it was until pretty much every time we go somewhere, it's like, wow, you guys got it's 6 kids.
It was always like
boy,
a
we
circus
still get the same
sideshow.
Yeah.
Every single day, everywhere we
You
went.
guys
Oh my
act so good. You guys are behave so well. I'm like, damn, we chilling. We ain't even.
No, it's not that.
But
It's
then
that.
Mom also gave us that look in the car.
That's
when
what
we
I was
got
about
out.
to say, boy. We were behaving well because I was threatened before I came in here. Don't touch
Just
nothing.
nothing. Don't ask for nothing.
All that. I was just telling her upstairs, like I'm
Still
about to.
asked.
She was like, "Don't go on the podcast. You know how she is. Don't misrepresent me. Don't misspeak. Don't lie." But I told her, I'm gonna tell everybody how y'all used to beat us, bro. real. Y'all beat us. Nah, not for real. I think that's
Some got it worse than others.
absolutely. That's actually a really that's an interesting topic because I don't spank my kids right now, and I started out spanking them mostly because that's how like I was raised, and I didn't get like I was actually really good. I just saw Drew get spanked a lot. Mostly it was Drew. But do y'all think that their methods of discipline has an impact on who you guys are like today as far as like your behavior?
I feel like I needed it.
Why?
Personally. I wasn't the type of person who like I didn't get in trouble in school. I didn't get in trouble outside the house. I just used to I had a mouth, as
Yep.
I'm sure y'all knew. So that was what was gonna get me straight. So they had to do what they had to do. I don't have no hard feelings now. Obviously that shit hurt back then. But I mean, it worked. It got me straight. Like y'all say now, like Drew, the only one who does everything parents say. Like y'all say that all the time now. And I don't like that's not like how I move. I just when I hear good advice that sound and I agree with it, I move with it. And they have all the experience and a lot of times what they say makes sense and I roll with it and that's put me in, solid positions. But I definitely needed all the ass whippings I got. Like
You deserve
all of them. Yeah, it's one story. I was like 11 or 12, so I didn't know no better. I think it was just me and my mom was the only ones in the room. And I'm thinking, I'm strong. We was just playing around wrestling. And my mom had me pinned. And I'm like, I couldn't move, couldn't do nothing.
I was in the room.
You was there?
It was in the living room.
Y'all was in the living room on the couch.
Bruh, well, it was quiet as a church mouse. I know that.
Yeah, you forgot who was there.
It got quiet. That's what happened.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we were just like,
He about to get his
anyway, I guess they was there. I didn't know. But she had me pinned, and I'm like trying to wrestle out, and she was strong. I couldn't get off her. So my dumb ass.
In her face.
She slapped shit out of me, and I was like, I just stood out like,
You deserve that.
because I didn't know no better. I'm like, yo, but in hindsight, she probably should have slapped me more.
Yeah,
just that
she
one
should've-
time.
she
I
should've
got
got
no
your
easy
ass.
for that.
It's your mouth, bro. I was just thinking because when you said that you spit on her, I'm imagining you were like, "What did I do? What did I do?"
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was.
I know. It just reminded me of that time. Y'all remember when we was and we went back. I think I was like 18. When we was in Long Beach, and mom and dad went to that store, and them dudes rolled up in the van on the side of the car.
Drew trying to get a shot.
oh yeah, I wasn't even there. I remember.
Almost got
Yeah, I
us
wasn't there.
killed.
Look, these dudes pulled up in a van.
Talking about they was gonna shoot.
In a white van, talking about something.
was it Long
What'd you
Beach?
say to my homie? What'd you say to my homie? You said you was gonna do something. So I'm in the other car, me and Lake and Blaine, I think, or someone else. We were all quiet. Drew's on the other car. What did I do? What did I do? I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing. Homeboy, he has his hand like under the window, like I'm a blast. I'm a blast. Drew's like, I didn't do nothing. What you mean? You gonna do this? I'm sitting in the car like.
They ain't
Like,
had
damn,
shit.
this our first day back. We about to get killed.
You going on a trip for your birthday?
Yep,
Was that the same
that's
time?
exactly what it was.
They wasn't gonna do shit because niggas not gonna threaten and say I'm about to blast. They gonna do that shit. They not just
But
gonna announce
I
it.
didn't even recognize them. They just mistook us for.
So somebody was
whoever it
walking in the
was.
parking lot, and we was cracking jokes at each other, windows down, because we was in two separate cars. And I guess whoever was walking thought we was talking shit about him. So like 5 minutes later, out of nowhere, a big what color?
It was white. It was white.
Big white, big ass white van pulled up. Was talking shit, and pressing us and shit. We was just so confused.
Not Drew.
It was in Bixby Knowles, right? In that shopping center.
Yep.
And I guess just to give a little bit of like background, LA, the blacks and the Mexicans, they kind of like, they go at it a little bit. I mean, it's some that's like they cool and, we really don't need to be each other's enemy to begin with, but that's pretty much what that's what it was like in LA. So just like them two clashing, then I guess they just needed a reason to pull up on somebody and threaten. So
Right.
that's all that was. Obviously, we still here today, so ain't nothing happening. But
Yeah.
That
I
almost-
do, like I don't really hold my tongue very well, so I kind of got us in a little.
Like
bit of
Drew,
trouble.
I used to get my ass whooped a lot too, but it wasn't from my mouth. It was just like stupid shit I did. Most of the time, like if me and Lance was fighting, they was just I don't know, run to me like I did some shit and whoop my ass.
To this day.
To this day.
This nigga.
I'm like,
Hey, I'm over here chilling.
like we in the backseat of a car one time. Me and Lance are fighting.
Oh, I whooped your ass, but I remember.
Cap. That's not even the time I'm talking about.
Okay.
'Cause, okay, he probably whooped my ass that time. 9 times out of 10, I was in that pause. I was whooping cuz ass, but we in the back seat. We had a van, so it was like the back of the back. And we just slapping the shit out of each other's thighs, just going crazy.
I got it back on.
My mama pulled over because she fed up about it. So immediately she just starts hitting us both, back and forth. And this man Lance says, "But I didn't do anything." She's like, "I'm sorry, baby." I'm like, yo.
Hey, I remember that.
This how life finna go for me? Is this real? So, man, hella stories. Drew probably got it worse than me, but
Yeah, I got it worse
Drew
than everybody,
definitely got
but
it
it was
worse.
deserved.
You
y'all don't even know most of either y'all was in school, y'all was gone, or y'all just wasn't paying attention.
But
They get my ass up,
nah,
man.
they got it on kids on video. Like, I guess I don't know my reputation in the house. They try to say like I got blamed for everything.
Yeah.
We was
What's
like,
kids
it
on
was around
video?
Christmas time. I showed you probably a couple years ago. It was around Christmas time, and I think somebody had a Santa hat or something, and it's on video. Like pulled the little white ball off the hat. And Mom's first reaction was to gun for me. She snapped on me, and I think I just like stormed off to the room or something. I'm like, bruh, I didn't do nothing again. But a lot of the times I did, it was well deserved.
See, I had it a little bit easier since I was the oldest, so I had dad a lot of the times. Like, he always in my ear. There's a couple things he always told me. He's like, hey, look, no matter what, you always look after your mother, and you always make sure that you stand behind and look after your brothers for any and everything. So for me, it always was like, I would try not to get in trouble so much, just so, like, you know what I'm saying?
I ain't
Y'all
never
went-
seen Jordan getting beat before.
I mean, I
don't think I have
In
either.
my life.
I've gotten actually, there was one time, Austin, me and you, remember we used to have that yellow plastic bat? It was flat on one side and it was like that little half round on the other side. There was one time, me and Austin, we was play fighting, but we was like, back in this when the den was still the den. And me and Austin, we just play fighting with it or whatever and yelling. Me and Mom come around the corner past that little closet. She looked at it, she's like, what are y'all doing? Give me it. She took the bat and then went at both of us. Wah, 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 wah. I was like, y'all stop fighting.
With the bat?
Yeah, and then threw it down. Me and Austin look at each other. It was like, hey man, you wanna go play outside, bro? We just went outside and go play, bro. I was like, what the like, we wasn't even serious. But it was,
I remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember Jordan game.
I don't remember.
I don't
Jordan
remember
beat
like I
up.
said, for me,
Jordan didn't get whooped that bad. I didn't. Well, the only time I did is because of Lake.
Yeah.
Lake used to get me in trouble all the time, but that's a whole nother story.
I was mostly trying to save Drew's ass. He was like, Drew, chill.
Yeah.
Drew said, no, I'm a...
Blaine got the least of them all.
For sure. I mean, it was really just Drew and Lake that.
Yeah, y'all.
I mean, but if you look at their
Austin
personalities,
got his ass beat when
Yeah.
he tried to walk.
Hey, listen, man. Let me tell man. Listen,
Hey, bruh.
this scars me to this day. I can't even walk around my own block. I'm 29 years old. I was probably 9 or 8, and Lake was either playing the PlayStation or had a cookie or something, and I wanted it. I couldn't have it, so I was upset. Walk around the block. I'm just walking around the block. Next thing I know, I see Drew snitching ass.
no.
Drew riding
on
around,
my bike.
riding on his bike, and I'm just chilling at this point. So I'm walking. Drew riding on his bike. Austin, Mom said come in the house. So I'm like, man, that was the longest walk of my life.
Hey, you know it wasn't. It wasn't Drew that snitched on you
to see
though.
where you
Who was
I snitched on you.
You did? Why am I just not finding this out?
Again, I get blamed for everything.
I remember you was walking and you was about to turn that corner.
Yep.
J-Mill.
I think I-
Yeah, because you kept walking across South Street.
Yep.
It kept on walking. So I was like, what the fuck is this nigga doing?
No, I didn't walk across South Street.
Wasn't that Ellis? Was it Ellis?
Nah,
Ellis?
the back street was South Street.
Yeah, Backstreet South.
Back street was South Street,
Okay.
and Austin walked across South Street, going like
All I
parallel
know
to the
is
forest.
you was about to make that turn, and I think I was scared for you. I don't know why, and I went and told mom and dad, and I didn't know they was gonna jack you up like
Hey
that.
man, so look, I'll get in the house. I was happy. I blew off my steam. I was good. I was ready to play with my bros. Mom was like, "Go to the bathroom." Go in the bathroom, man. Mom,
Bathroom.
Go to the bathroom.
You already know what's up.
She don't even
Go to
gotta
the
whoop
bathroom.
you. You gonna start crying when she say go to the bathroom.
Mom and dad went in there and jacked me up, bro. I got it from both of them. That's the worst spanking I've ever had.
You got jumped?
in my life.
This nigga got jumped.
Pretty much, man. But you know the worst part about it? The worst part about it to this day was when it was all said and done, Dad walked back in and he was like, "You okay, man?"
Fuck all that, man.
Bro, like, don't talk to me.
Look,
bro.
he's like, "You okay? You know we don't like spanking you, right?" Like, y'all sure seem like y'all enjoyed that.
Hey, nah, this the script that they used to run. Well, specifically me, because I got
it's
most of it.
everybody.
Yeah, but you know, we would do something. They would beat us for it, deservedly so or whatever. And probably like I know me personally, I'd be in the room, be in the room crying, like boo-hooing. Next thing you know, you hear the door like crack open and creak in comes Dad. Hey man, what's going on? How you doing?
I ain't never
Everything
got that.
okay? Everything okay? You know what you did was wrong, right? You need to apologize to your mother. That was the
single time.
script every single time.
Every single time.
And I do think, in hindsight, looking back, that was a good thing that he did. Sure. Like, I mean, we make fun of it now. Like, even like upstairs, like we'll talk to him or whatever. We'll make fun of him for doing it, but as a kid, like it just kind of gives you like reassurance, like because when you mad at your parents, it's like you don't want nothing to do with them. You don't want to see them. You want to talk to them.
You don't want to eat their food.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, that pre-dinner beating was the worst.
I ain't trying to eat.
I ain't
Eat
never
with
got
the
that,
the
bro.
whole time.
I ain't never got that.
Really?
You never got beat up
Y'all
to come
got
home from
that.
school for something?
No.
Yes,
God.
but they ain't never came up and, hey man.
I'm sure.
They
That was
bro.
Dad's
Dad did
script.
it all the time.
But I mean, like I was
at
saying,
work.
I was just.
He
It
was,
was,
I'm trying to tell you.
no, it happened. It
I
happened.
used to always say,
Ain't
I used
no
to get,
apology.
Wait till your dad get home, because it's like you couldn't call back
it was
then, because
that.
they didn't really have cell phones. So
It's like going to jail, serving your time, and then getting out and still having to apologize.
Bruh, Dad would get
You
home.
just beat me.
First thing Mom would do, guess what your son did?
Yeah. You know what's crazy, man? Fantasia does the same thing. It's weird. Like I find myself in the same shoes that Dad was in. I do the same thing with them after I spank them, when I spank them, which is very rare. If I do have to spank them, I always follow up afterwards by I'd be like, "Hey man, you okay? You know I don't like to spank you, right?"
I mean, but like I said, it gives the kids reassurance, like that everything is all right and that your parents gonna forgive you because like you're not mature in your mind yet to know like how it's gonna go afterwards.
Right.
So it's a good thing to do. If that's a road you decide to go down as far as like beating your kids or even just getting them in trouble, it's always good to try to like follow up just to make sure they know everything's straight because it brought me comfort at that time. I'm clowning now, but at that time, like once I apologized, I felt a whole lot better about myself. So that's just me though.
Time heals all wounds. Was no talking done. 2 days later, we be all right. Ain't none of that
Hey,
happened.
that was a script sometimes, but so just moving on from all that. From I guess this is gonna be the beating topic. Just
I guess.
But one topic I actually asked somebody about this, like what they would want to like hear from us. So growing up, LA area specifically is gang culture, gang banging culture, and you in a family with 6 boys, it's way too many people, like young men, that get lured into that lifestyle, and obviously moving played a huge part in us being able to avoid it. But while we were there, how do you guys think we navigated and avoided gang banging out there?
I can speak very easily on that for us. Well, for me personally.
Yeah, speak
I'll
for
say.
yourself.
For me personally, there was really 3 things that kept me, as far as like being like just nothing but in the streets. 3 things: the fact that I was smart, so I was able to do the school thing.
Very smart.
The fact that I was a hooper, like I was like,
Genius.
and that the hooping part, that's really what like
Consumed
the
it.
people around, like not even like my parents. I'm glad they kept us in sports year round since we were like 4 or 5 years old. But like when you out in the, we out at the parks playing, especially like with me, I'll go by myself to like DeForest Park down the basketball court sometimes when I was in high school in the hoop. And the niggas that's all around there, they doing what they do. But they always like, hey man, you make sure you do what you do with this ball, all right? You seem like you're good, stay on the court. Anybody else, I'm going, I used to do stuff. Sometimes I would skip school, and I'm riding around with people. Some
You
of the
used to
homies,
skip school?
I skipped a few times. I did in high
There's
school.
so many
heard
stories I done learned about Jordan when I was older that I never knew about.
I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I used to go to DeForest with you, huh?
You have a few times. Yeah. But there was like times like after, especially like when I had broke my thumb.
Yeah, I remember that.
I broke my thumb.
9th grade, right? No, I was.
No, you was coming in 9th grade. I was in 10th grade.
Lakewood, yeah.
And so like when I went to hoop and stuff, around that time, like something was wrong with our basketball court. Either like you know how like we had to either put the sand or the water in. I think it was like leaking or something. So if we wanted to hoop, 9 times out of 10 we had to go down to the park. And so like there'll be times I'll either ride my bike or I'll walk down there to the park. And I'm down there working on my left hand because I can't shoot with my right. And I got people down there. It was like, hey little homie, I got 10 right now. You go ahead and hit that shot, homie. So I'm over there and I'll shoot, I miss, or I'll shoot, I might make, whatever the case may be. But those are like the ones a lot of times you'll see them on the court.
I'm sorry, real break. I'm sorry. This nigga poured more in his cup, knowing I wanted something.
I kill that.
Go ahead, Jordan, my bad.
Y'all little niggas, man. But anyway, so let me just keep going. So anyway, so those two things, and then number 3, as Drew just kind of alluded to, mom and dad moving us out,
Yeah.
which probably was the biggest thing because sophomore year for me, Drew knows like my grades, high school, were not good at all.
They weren't good?
Nope, I didn't
I
like.
guess they were.
Nah. I remember.
No, before I moved, no,
Yeah.
they got good when I moved to Georgia.
That's because when you moved to Georgia, you were learning the same things you had already learned in California.
But also, I stopped hooping. I stopped doing a lot of other things. But out there, for me, like when my grades stopped, mom had pulled us off the basketball team.
Oh yeah, she showed
I
did.
vaguely remember that.
Yep. She went to the coaches and said, "Hey, these niggas ain't playing no more because they can't even get the grades." Now it was supposed to be like a 2-3 to play on the team, so I barely had that. But mom didn't play that shit.
Yeah.
So it was, they
Why
pulled.
don't I remember her pulling you?
They pulled the shit out of me, bro.
They ain't pulled me.
That's not the.
I think you was
They
okay.
pulled Jordan. I don't know why. I remember that.
They said, nah, if you can't get your grades up, you ain't hooping. So
Cause you
they,
had I remember you had some D's. I don't know if you was feeling.
Yeah, you was bugging.
I was tripping. But like I told you, like I said, there was times I wouldn't go into school. There was times when, like even when I was in school, I never was one that really cared about school like that.
You was about to get caught up in that gangster stuff,
And
weren't
so
you?
it's like there was people that that I rolled with who, you know what I'm saying. So doing that, like I remember one story. There was a dude who went to Lakewood. That's the high school we went to, Lakewood out there. And he drove, but his dumb ass broke his key in the ignition. So
Strong ass fingers.
like I don't know how he did it, but he broke the key to his ignition. So of course he couldn't lock his door. So there's a couple of homies. I'll tell you off air, Drew, because they hoop with us. But we would like skip school sometimes. Like, hey, bro, we can go ahead and catch this whip right here. So there'd be times like we leave school, we riding in the homie's car, going wherever the fuck we going or whatever. Until one day, this nigga got in the car. I'm in the car with him. And for some reason, he pulled a U-turn on that street going towards the baseball diamond because the dude playing on the baseball team was like, bro, you go this way, the team gonna see you. I was like, man, they're not even playing, I don't think, right now. This is like, I want to say 4th period or something like that. So no one should have been out there. It's like, all right, whatever. We started driving. Shit you not, the baseball team out there and everybody just like, bruh. So we said, we drove up to the Wiener Schnitzel that was on that back street. Went to the Wiener Schnitzel, got our food or whatever. As we did, nigga, we walked back to school. I had took my hoodie off. He had changed his shirt or whatever, and we fucking left his car up there. Walked back. It's like if he wants his car, he can go find it or call the police report or something. But we ain't finna drive back with these niggas knowing who we are now, because like you said, we talking about windows down. We all looking at each other. But yeah, for me, it was like the basketball is really the thing that kind of really, for the most part, kept me centered. I was around. I saw different things. Like I remember the first time seeing. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. But
Keep that off air.
yeah, exactly. But anyway, so like we're on seeing certain things, and it was real easy to get into that. Honestly, it wasn't hard. It wasn't like some people have this idea where it's like, oh, you walk around, you somewhere, you get jumped, and oh, now you're like, it's not always that. like sometimes it is on the individual that seeks it out. And especially when you're around, you see certain people, they look cool, you know, they got, you know, jewelry, they pull, you know, they, you know, showing nice cars and stuff like that. You're like, oh, okay, I want to do this. They cool to hang out with, they cool to talk to. It's like, okay.
Right.
For me, hey, bro, stay at school, you hooping? How you doing hooping? I was like, yeah, I'm good, I'm starting, I'm doing this, doing that. All right, you make sure you do. That's what kept me out.
It's a real allure to it, for real. Like when you think about it,
Bruh.
just like because, especially for those like who don't have father figures in the household, they're the ones who like they looking for male role models, and a lot of male role models that they looking up to are the ones that's in the streets.
In the streets.
At the end of the day.
Not just the role models, but I think the biggest thing that kept all of us out of that was not needing a sense of not feeling like we need to belong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we had us. Like we was a gang in ourselves. Like we was always kicking it, so it was never the need for us to go and
Right.
band together with.
Y'all remember that time we rolled up on homie that punk Blaine
Nope.
at Cubberly?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like why would for me like why would I feel the need to join
this
the
was
gang?
when I think I was in 8th grade, 7th grade. We was all all at Cubberly at the same time. Y'all was I think it was after school. Y'all was at
It was all at the back.
I forgot what it was called. What y'all's program was, Tots for something.
Nah, we were older than that.
Yeah, they were older.
This
We were
first
in,
grade?
like 2nd grade.
Damn, was it that? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So it's like damn.
Makes sense.
But anyway, so Blaine, who's our other brother, he ran to. I want to say he came to me. He came to me first, crying on the basketball court. Came to me crying. Like, what you crying for? I mean, it was like, this little boy pushed me. I was like, oh, word? Who? He points out, all right, bet. So Drew's on another basketball court hooping. I go get him, hey, bro, whoopty whoop. He's like, oh, okay, bet. We think we go run and get Austin. He probably playing tetherball or something on the other side. Hey. I don't know where you was at. And I was like, hey, bro. I was like, oh, bet. So we started walking. Lake and Lance on the other side of the field. Like, hey, what's going on? They came running over. Bro, I think it was Austin that was the one that pulled up on him. He was like, hey, man, I heard you put your hands on my brother. Pushes it to the ground. Lake's the other one on top of him. We all just over there like, yeah, you need to apologize. He was like, oh, my God, I'm sorry. No, don't apologize to us. Apologize to him. And I'm sorry, bro.
Always
Now,
about
we
it.
can't forget the fact that Blaine almost killed that nigga, bro.
No, dog.
Time out.
No, that's a whole different nigga.
No, you remember?
Was it a different time?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a
that's
different one.
different.
That was a
nigga.
different
You
one.
remember? Y'all remember like the Shaq highlight with Brad Miller?
Yep.
Where he like came like this and then swung and missed. That's exactly what happened in that situation.
I'm glad he didn't do that because he probably still be in jail to this day.
Is Blaine connected with that?
Nah, man, he was a little
my
kid.
Man, he would have killed that boy.
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never seen him swing that hard in my life.
It was just like it was textbook, just
Insane.
like the Shaq Brad Miller situation.
But I don't
We
remember
gonna
that
clip
first
that
story
in,
though.
too.
I don't remember the
that.
first one, but
That's
I remember
crazy.
Blaine
That.
swinging.
But yeah, that's why that's having our own game.
I would say for us, shit, we moved out here before we could get to it. Honestly,
And that's it.
we was we had our parents, mom and dad in our life, and that was probably the biggest part. And then we moved out here and we was like 10 years old. We're going on 10. But like if you know anything about LA, you get started while you're young. So me and Lance, we had our own little clique. We had our people we ran with. Like we was low key had a little fight club at school. No cap. Like we
I
were
don't
every
even know about that.
like every
Hold
day
up.
after school.
Elaborate, nigga.
Bro, every day after school,
We ran that shit.
Like we'll officiate fights, bro.
Wait.
Like,
What school is what we talking about?
Cubberly.
we were at Cumberly.
You guys had a fight club at Cubberly?
Like
And
the small amount of black and Mexican people that were at the school, we was all friends and stuff. So.
You guys were bad.
And the thing was, we never fought. We just orchestrated. We orchestrated all
throughout the
of it.
day, you'll have bees, people arguing, and they'll be like, all right, just wait after school, bro. We gonna handle this. After school, we did so many throwdowns. It was crazy. So we had our own little clique, and really coming out here to Georgia.
That was it, really.
Before all that, me and Lance, we had to calm down ourselves because we knew what type of path we were on at that young age, like fighting every day. It gets tiring. So I guess when we came out here, we sort of reinvented ourselves, calmed down a lot, started going to private school for high school.
Yep.
And shit.
Not just that, but also us going to school outside the district that we lived in.
Man,
If we went to high school or middle school,
Jordan?
Jordan went to Jordan?
We lived like 2 minutes from Jordan High.
Jordan, Lindbergh.
we would have been banging.
Those the main
For sure. We would have been banging. For
No
sure.
doubt.
We would have been
I
banging.
definitely say all the time, especially with talking about moving out here. I say all the time, mom and dad saved my life doing it.
Mom and dad, man, they
Mom and
like,
dad saved
I give them
my
credit for
life,
that, man. Like they made a lot of really good decisions when it came to raising
Even
their
bro,
kids.
me and
bro.
Drew hated that shit though.
Bruh, I remember I wanted to go to Poly, but because you was already at Lakewood, I couldn't go to
they
Poly.
didn't
because you
They
was
didn't even let me go to Poly.
Nah, what happened with you was
I didn't get into Poly Pace.
immediately you got
Yeah,
in
I got
later.
waitlisted, but I got
Yeah.
into the Merit Scholars program over at
Yeah.
Lakewood. So mom was like, "All right, we gonna say," but they didn't want me going to Poly no way. They didn't want me going to Poly. They didn't want me going to Jordan. They didn't want me.
Which is smart, Jordan.
Right.
Yeah,
Jordan ain't none of us actually want to go to Jordan. We want to go to Poly. Was like
Poly was where we moved on.
like,
Where we was trying
Poly's
to go.
like a countrywide known high school program for sports.
Yeah,
in Long Beach. It's on the east side in Snoop Hood actually. And pretty much, if you from Long Beach, like that's where you wanted to go to school, like for high school, just because of the prestige of it. So, that's where I wanted to go, but I had to go where Jordan was just to make things easier on my parents. As far as like, even though we took the bus to school anyway, but
Bro, we gonna talk about bus stories later.
as far as the gang stuff, though, I think we all pretty well. I know for me, I think we all knew better, like from the way we were
agree
raised.
with
Because I
that.
remember when we moved out here,
I
I
didn't
was
know
kicking
better.
it. Well, Jordan's another story.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. I got
I knew
questions.
better, but bro, that shit.
I still did. Yeah.
When we moved out here, I was kicking it with this one dude for like the whole day. That was like the homie. Went to school the next day. This is why we went to Lovejoy in Clayton County. And went to school the next day. It's lunch. He whispered in my ear, "Hey, bro, Death Trooper." I said, "What's Death Trooper?"
The Star Wars nigga.
He said, "That's the name of our gang." I was like, "Gang?" I said, "I ain't with that gang shit." I didn't curse at the time, but I was like, "I'm not with that gang shit." So I think we all knew pretty much, right from wrong. If we should join gangs, if we should just click up with our brothers. I knew that I shouldn't have joined a gang.
I was,
We didn't want to get our ass whooped. We were more scared
only
of
that,
our
I just-
parents than us banging, honestly.
I don't think it was that. I think we knew right from wrong. Like our parents instilled from us from a young age, like the foundation.
I think that has more to do with it than anything.
Yeah,
I
that's-
never had the desire. Like,
that's my experience. Just, I mean, obviously because we had the role model. If we grew up in a household where we didn't have a father, who knows what would have happened. But my dad laid the blueprint. Even like himself, like his story. Like my dad's best friends is in gangs, and his brothers and our uncles, like they was out in the streets doing their thing.
Yep.
And just the environment that my pops grew up in and made it out of, that's like a hell of a story. Like,
and if he can make it out of South Central LA, we got no excuse coming out of Long Beach.
South
You know
Central
what I'm
LA,
saying?
he think
Don't talk about Long Beach like it's
I'm
sweet,
talking
man.
about if he made it out and he was our parent in Long Beach, it's a lot easier for us.
yeah. So I mean, just I always like admired and looked up to my pop. So
Yeah.
just like seeing him and like what he navigated and what the decisions he made, I paid close attention to that just because I wanted to be like him. So one pep talk he used to always give us, just something he told us was like, yo, if anybody walks up on you, ask what set you from, tell them I don't bang.
bang.
That's something that he used to tell us like growing up out there in Cali. So that was something obviously he was well versed in. He grew up, he'd been in his street situations, but that wasn't something that, he desired going after. And if that's something that he didn't desire going after, growing up in the environment he grew up in, a single parent home with 10 brothers or 7 brothers, 2 sisters, and being able to kind of keep his focus on what he wanted to do and not deal with none of that, like that was enough for me to not want to desire that at all. And then being able to see like how people's lives turned out when they did get involved with that, it wasn't appealing to me.
Yeah, I remember.
Personally, I'm fascinated by it. Like I'll watch like Netflix and YouTube just to kind of like get like an inside like mindset and track on like they day to day and what they do. But as far as like what I wanted from my life, that wasn't for me. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, I remember I believe all of us were there. I know I definitely was. I think it was the time I went to, but like that time Dad took all of us to Skid Row.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he like Joey's like, hey, y'all, I'm in the car, we're gonna drive real quick, I want y'all to see something. And he was just talking as far as like, hey, you always want you, do good in school. I think this is around the time I think it might have been, I forgot how old I was, but I wasn't doing something right in school. But he had took all of us in the car. He was like, yeah, man, I always want to make sure y'all doing good in school, y'all doing well, y'all get your job, y'all take care of families, and your family, woo-de-woo. And then it was like, but, if you don't, this is what can happen. And drove us around Skid Row. We seen all the homeless people just sitting out on the streets, boxes everywhere, trash, everybody doing graffiti. You got like, a couple of the homeless people arguing about whatever they talking and arguing about. And it was like, cause this is what y'all can end up like. You know, I got friends and stuff who are out here looking just like this.
Shit,
I know
we had an uncle out there at one point. You feel me?
You know what's crazy though? Like we grew up seeing an example of what could go wrong, and we have people that we know personally that we grew up with who that's happened to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what's so crazy. It's like this is what happens when you don't follow the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Or
Right.
not that you have to follow the exact blueprint, but when you go down that path, like we see it, bro. We got the homie down the block. How long is he in jail?
20,
He got
20,
20 something.
I think he already did 10.
we grew up
But even with that, like, I mean, I don't want to like. I mean, his home was broken. I mean, I know he was raised by his pops, and he still had the allure.
That was the other
Right.
crazy thing.
To do
Y'all
it.
think about it? Like on our block, like most everybody had their fathers there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On our block, like
Yeah.
on the corner, father's there.
Nah,
Next door,
door.
he's there. We there. Even Meech when he was there, his pops was up there.
Thomas.
The only I don't know about Michael and the Lois. I don't remember them.
Yeah, I don't know if they.
I remember them.
Pops there,
But
Jimmy
everybody,
had theirs, yeah.
everybody on our block at least still had their father around, which also helped in our environment because we all hooping or riding our bikes on the block or whatever. We going over people's houses to play games, listen to music or whatever. The fathers are like in every single household that we mostly went to. The fathers are there, and when you. At school and you're talking to people like I remember when I was at Cubberley and we had mom's muffin morning and dad's donut day.
I remember that.
Yep.
And this was like, because like this was my 4th grade, your 3rd grade. I think you was at what was that Newcomb at the time? I think he was at Newcomb
He was at Newcomb for like a year.
and then he came over to Cubberley. But that
So
year he was at
he was
Newcomb.
just that year he was at Newcomb.
And I remember like talking to a couple of the homies that was there. And my dad's there. We having donuts, we eating or whatever in the morning. And there's a couple kids. Of course they were out their dads or whatever. And at that time, I'm not thinking nothing of it because I didn't know no better at that time. But then I go to him, I ask him, and I was like, "Hey, how come your dad didn't come?" And little dude let me. It's like I don't know him.
I didn't realize
And I
that
was like,
growing up without a father was a thing until I got to like a certain age. Like
Bruh.
I thought everybody had a mom and dad.
Right. Well, I won't say that because we knew off jump that my pops didn't have a father.
We did.
So
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
didn't.
I don't know. We obviously like.
Well, we knew it, but we didn't really know it.
We didn't understand the
later.
impact
Yeah,
of
we didn't
it.
know it till later.
Yeah, we just like it just was what
And
it
at
was.
that time, we thought, Big Buck who was always around. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That was kind of like, the male figure that was around. So we can, we was able to conceptualize that there was somebody that was at least somewhat kind of there.
Yeah.
So
Right.
So.
Yeah, all I saw was that. I don't know about Big Buck. That was
You don't
probably
know
a
Big Buck, bro?
I know him, but I was young. Come on, I was
Yeah, I
young.
remember
That's-
that.
So there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that y'all talk about that. I mean, I remember, but I don't really know any
Bro, that man
stories
used to have a
behind
can
it,
of
you feel me?
Budweiser every
All the time,
single
bro.
time I saw him. Every single time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so
But yeah, they did. Like I said, for me, let's kind of wrap it up for me. Like I said, really the biggest thing outside of hooping was them moving us out, especially at that time. Because once I got pulled from the hoop squad, I couldn't even play basketball no more, and my grades was still trash at that. And I didn't care much about school. I knew I was going left.
I think
already, so.
everybody was good except for Jordan. Jordan was the only one that could have fell for that trap.
Didn't you?
This nigga here, man.
anyways, so yeah,
We got put out of school. We got homeschooled.
they weren't having that.
Man, damn.
They weren't having it at all.
So yeah, I think it's just a unique story. Like for us all, like 6 boys in the household, to be able to navigate and avoid know right from wrong in that culture where like it was commonplace. Like we go to school and we know who the blood niggas are, we know who the Crip niggas are. It really is. Long Beach is an all Crip city, but it was some niggas from Compton that went to Lakewood, and like we knew like who they was affiliated with and all that. So even in middle school, I know some.
I want to tell this one story.
Go ahead.
Do you remember? This was my sophomore year, your freshman year. We actually played an away game at Compton. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
So we had a game at Compton. So your team, I think y'all played like the 4:00 slot. We played at 5, like 3 and 4:30, something like
Yeah,
that.
it's early.
Bro, we kicked their asses. His squad and our squad. Fucked them up. Like, we both won their games by like 20 points plus each. Bro, when I tell you though, like, it was the 4th quarter of my game because our game was last. Couple minutes left, and all I see are the coaches grabbing their bags, putting all the bags together, getting everything together. About 1 minute left. Coach is like, all right, everybody, as soon as the game is over, we're not going to shake their hands. We're not going to do anything. We're leaving. And I'm saying, that's like, why are we doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, You know what I'm saying? You know, there's still the game still going on. You know, me starters and the people on the bench. And it's like why, it was all good. You know what I'm saying? You know, they got their ass beat. It's all right. That game ended when I tell you all of Compton High was just like, oh yeah, fuck y'all nigga, cuz, what's up, nigga? What's up y'all trying to do? Bruh, we beeline to the bus, right? We get into the bus, we try pulling off. All you see these niggas picking up rocks.
Yeah,
Doom,
I remember that.
doom. They had to pull out that bitch quick, fast, and in a hurry. But then they came and saw us again. Of course, we played twice each. So they came back and they pretty much always like trying to apologize and try to be cool and shit. We're just like,
I'm sure they coaches
Ain't
done
none of
that.
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
But no, they was trying to be on our helmet after we kicked their ass that game, bro. But I think some of us was also talking shit during the game
Yeah,
too.
I'm
So
sure,
that-
especially the niggas on
I'd
your
have been
team.
Bro, we
That
was
ass.
talking we was talking
my.
shit. I ain't gonna hold you.
I will say the last thing on this gang thing. I will say watching. I never seen. Well, I didn't know about Jordan until later, but I didn't see any of y'all in gang activity. So as a younger brother, watching y'all, like y'all my role models too. So I watch y'all and I don't see you guys involved in the gang stuff. Then, naturally I don't want to get involved in it either because I see my older brothers going down the path that they're going on. I want to go down the same path. So I appreciate y'all for that
The
too.
biggest thing for
welcome.
me,
Yeah,
Dad will always.
for
That's
sure.
one thing Dad always told me, especially like he used to drop me off in my 9th grade year at the bus stop all the time in the morning. And one thing he used to always tell me every single time is like, hey, look, man, just want you to know something. Your brothers are always looking at you.
Always, yeah.
One way or another, whether you know it or
That's a
not, whether
fact.
they tell
He
you or
used to
not,
tell me that too.
your brothers are always watching you. So
Always.
make sure you lead a good example. So for me,
didn't
even
tell
though
me
I
that.
was, doing, little dumb shit here and there, the one thing I didn't want was for y'all doing it.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
So I will always, try to, keep it, pretty much on the low for one, but for two, it's like that shit ain't worth it because for me, I don't give a fuck what's going on or what I, would have got down with or whatever. Wasn't nobody fucking with y'all when it came to me.
Right.
We was
ever.
watching.
You feel what I'm saying?
We were watching
So
it.
Y'all was
Hey, I ain't gonna
banging.
lie, like,
it's
I
always
was banging.
that's
Yeah,
not
it's-
something y'all
Don't put that rag on.
And y'all know if Lake started banging, I'm right there with him too.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
It,
just
I mean,
how
it
it
ain't
has
nothing
to
y'all
be.
can really relate to just because the position y'all in. But like,
Yeah.
as like us, like we don't without that talent, we don't realize how much like y'all like would look to us as far as like us setting a good example. That's not something that
Look at
like
sports.
I consciously, yeah, true. It's just not. I guess maybe subconsciously, like I realize like y'all look after me, and obviously Dad, Mom gave us those pep talks about it. But I mean, it's obviously confirmation to hear you say that.
Yeah.
I think that's dope to hear, just to
I mean, even
know
to
that
this-
we set a good example.
Yeah.
We was always
despite what
playing
we
sports
did.
with y'all, hanging out with people older than us.
Yeah.
We was always. I mean, we probably didn't know it ourselves.
I don't think that's ever gonna go away though. As
Yeah,
far as
I
like
was
being an
saying,
older brother is
even
concerned,
to this
like,
day, it's like I
yeah.
still, look up to y'all. I mean, I know I'm a grown man now, but at the same time, it's like y'all still my older brothers. Like it don't matter how old I get, I'm still gonna be watching how y'all maneuver, like how y'all raise y'all kids.
Oh man.
Everything.
No pressure, man. I ain't watching y'all. Y'all good. Y'all good, man. We done grown up.
No, I'm
Of course,
saying
of course
we
you guys still
grown.
hold a certain example.
Yeah,
That's
for
all it
sure.
is. But I mean, the thing is, whether you realize it or not, you're gonna emulate some of the things that you see. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to parenting, because I don't know how many of y'all close friends have kids, but you can only do what you're exposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna emulate what you're exposed to. So if you guys see me, I've been doing this. I've been in the game for 8 years now, as far as kids are concerned. So
Shit.
yeah, it's a long time. So whether you guys realize it or not, when you guys do finally have kids, you may do something, and we're gonna be chopping it up 20 years later, and you're like, oh damn, you did that too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did that too. I beat my kids when they did that.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say
It's real talk though.
So you guys definitely set an example if y'all didn't even realize it. At least for me, I don't know about Lake. Lake do his own thing. but-
Hey, man, the only times I ever really got hurt, like especially after like I was, fucking up I always was fucking up in school, you guys.
I'll follow right behind him.
But yeah, like school was like I finished and everything, but school was just never my. I always felt like either I was too smart for it, or I just didn't like school. But when I was doing the college thing, there was one time I was sitting on the floor in my parents' room. We was of course here, and
On the pillar.
yeah, right up
I remember that.
on the pillar. And one of the things that they were saying, it was like, do you realize your brothers are watching you and they're talking to themselves like, what the fuck is he doing? What the fuck are you? You're like they're looking at you like, I can't even look at this nigga like a big brother type thing. Which that if anything ever hurt me, that was like, damn. It's like I couldn't even think of it like that. I'm out here doing my thing, trying to find myself and whatever. But it's like you lose sight of the fact like, damn, outside of that, you still got people who are watching
Right.
you do what you're doing. It's like. I got recenter, get back, and
But at that time, it's like, yeah, that's definitely what I would say to myself. Like, yo, what this nigga doing? Bro?
I said it too.
I don't know what's wrong with this.
I remember I called him on the phone and went off on him one time.
he cussed me out one day.
I'm like, bro.
Cuss me.
But like to that
But the
point,
thing is, I never, like, even when I was doing my thing and I was kind of distant, I never ever was like, if y'all ever called or texted, I was pretty much always there.
I think that I like, although I looked at it at you that way then, if I could change that, I would. Only because I realize now that everybody has their own path. You know what I'm saying?
what I was gonna
Like
get to,
you don't have to go down the route that mom and dad had laid out for you in order for that to be you doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, why won't he graduate? Why won't he do this? Why won't he do that? Like that. That's
That's how we were conditioned to think. Though.
Absolutely.
Because mom and dad, that's what they wanted for us. So
Yeah.
when we seen them, or when we see you not doing what they want you to do, so to speak, then we're just like,
It's automatic.
why
Like, oh, he ain't doing
why-
it right.
And now that we get older, we doing the same shit.
Absolutely.
Like, damn.
Me and Jordan pretty much the same person. Like, I remember I had a conversation with Jordan till about 4 a.m. He was outside of his job, and he's telling me a bunch of stuff. I'm like, yo, I'm going through the same shit right now. So it's like, when I'm younger, I can't really comprehend what's going on. But as I get older and go through my own thing, it's like, I understand exactly what you
and
went
for
through,
me,
and
no
I can
judgment.
sympathize with it. It's
No
no judgment
judgment.
at all.
yeah,
None at
I
all.
mean, and that's the crazy thing about it. Like, obviously as older brothers, I mean, everybody, in a way, is a leader, and you have responsibility to the people who's coming behind you, like the people that's coming after you. But at that same token, I think everybody deserves, the opportunity to live their life how they want to live it and go about trial and error in the best way that they see fit without having the pressure of knowing, oh, dang, I don't want to go this route because this person look at me. I mean, ultimately, that's not really a fair position to be in.
You ain't signed up for that.
Like, yeah, he didn't know he was coming in this world to be the number one oldest brother. And
Exactly.
y'all didn't know y'all was coming in being the last. Like, we all each have our own individual lives to live.
Yep.
So, on that token, that's why I appreciated hearing that, just because, like, you still got to find your own way. Like,
Facts, bro.
the same way, like, I found my own way. Like, my thing is, I kind of like, I observe, I'm real observant. And if I see something that I agree with, I'll go that route. But if I see something that I'm not fooling with, I won't. Like, I'm still my own individual, just like the rest of y'all are. So, my thing is, I mean, I'm just going to figure this thing out and hope that I set a good example for y'all along the way. But at the same time, it's my life. I got to figure this shit out.
Exactly. And the path that you choose, you shouldn't make that decision based on who's watching. You know what I'm saying?
Or
Like,
what
that's,
everybody else says.
yeah, like that's
Right.
your path, man. And that goes for all y'all. That's why I appreciate, as now that we're all older, I appreciate each of you guys, like, individually in your own way. Like, everybody's doing their own thing.
Right.
How they want to do it. Hopefully y'all appreciate.
You be tripping sometimes.
All right, it's gonna take another 5 years. So y'all
He tried it
appreciate
though.
Nah, I appreciate it.
No, we do.
We admire it.
So much,
We do.
yeah,
Not to
definitely.
dive too deep into it, but no, I admire you and like how you, did your own thing. Like you third, but you started your family well before any of us.
You
And
started
you
trying to do
started your own
entrepreneurial
path,
shit.
so
Like, you
Right.
know.
Yep.
you doing your thing.
You
Obviously,
using
you
it
ran
this
into your
motherfucker.
trial and
You on your
error,
marathon, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
You on your
Yeah,
marathon.
you definitely inspired me.
So
We had conversations.
Yeah,
and,
you
we
might hear
talked.
noises from here and there saying do this and do that. For sure.
Yeah.
But stay on your shit, bro.
And it don't matter like whether I'm older or younger. Like I could still like look up to you no matter whether you older or not. So in some aspects, I look up to you. It's some other shit that you do that I don't fuck with. I was like, yo, what this nigga doing? Like I said, I'll look and I'll see if I like it, I'll go that way. If I don't like it, I'm not fooling with it. I can't do that. So I'll be like, yo, but I mean, at the end of the day, as for the rest of y'all, I got love for all y'all. And
Absolutely.
I respect all of y'all, and y'all got to find your own way, and you ain't got to worry about what none of the rest of us think, no matter whether we your brothers, your parents, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Right.
And if I'm sitting around this table, or really in this house in general, man, even if I don't agree, I'm gonna be like, man, I ain't rocking with you, but I got you, bro. Like, where we going? Where we going?
no, just straight up. Like I mean, I admire like the paths y'all taking as far as like finding what y'all want to do. Like that inspired me. Obviously, you know, I waited till I'm like, I'm gonna get stable first. I don't know what these niggas doing. Then I'm gonna go for it.
I had
But-
that option too, working at the city. I was
Hey,
like,
they said,
get
"Fuck
stable like bro, or go to Cali. I'm going to Cali. Fuck the bullshit.
Hey, but nah, that's a good segue. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go this route. So we kind of like touched on like some of our childhood stories, but like who, or better yet, we just go like this. How do y'all think like y'all upbringing and y'all childhood affect who y'all are today? We kind of touched on it a little bit, but like how y'all think what
can
y'all
touch
went
on that
through
a little
growing up,
bit.
like ended up how you are.
I can touch on that a little bit as far as it might get a little personal, but whatever. As far as like relationships, so I'm a relationship dude. I'm always in relationships. This is probably, I don't know if y'all know, this is probably the longest I've been single since sophomore year of high school. Like, this is the longest.
That's damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It ain't
Shit.
even been that long.
God.
It hasn't even been a year.
Damn.
My man don't even
It's
know
been a minute,
himself.
but
Nigga, scratch it.
at the same time, it's like I see what my parents have. You know, I see the love that they have with each other. You know, the support, and as a kid, that's something I always wanted. You know, before anything else, like that's something I always wanted before rapping for sports. I always wanted to find like my person. You know, so I've always wanted to be in relationships. So I think because I saw what mom and dad did, you know, while I was a kid, you know, just watching them love each other, watching them, you know, just take care of each other. I always wanted that. So just one aspect of it, that helped shape me into the person that I am, you know, in terms of relationships, in terms of wanting to find somebody to love. I know for a fact that shaped me into the person I am in terms of that aspect.
Yep. That's a big aspect, man. I think a lot of people downplay the importance of relationships. I mean, platonic relationships, but those romantic, man, like it shapes everything. Once you make that decision, who you gonna be with, like that decision right there,
That's why we here.
it's crazy. Exactly, it's crazy. So I mean, that's not something small to look at. That's a big thing, and
huge.
it's like that for me as well. Growing up in a 2-parent household, like with Fantasia. We weren't even married when she got pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as soon as she got pregnant, it was like, well, like I'm gonna marry her.
I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I remember going in your room and you had marrying her by the end of the year on your vision board before her.
Oh, was that before
that even
she
happened?
Oh,
That was on your vision board before she got pregnant. So
wow.
you
I'm
was
so
gonna
glad
do that.
you said that. I
anyway.
gotta show her that because I be telling her like, yo, if you didn't get pregnant.
Nah, you definitely was.
Yeah. I mean,
gonna do that anyway,
I knew
yeah.
that she was the one. But I know for a fact that mom and dad's like story, you know what I'm saying? Like that had an influence,
inspiring.
man. Yeah, like their lives have completely impacted mine in ways that I probably don't even understand yet. But the fact that I got married young, started having kids young, the things I'm interested in, me being a salesman. Most importantly, though, for me is the importance of like family. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter what we got going on. It don't matter, you know what I'm saying, how many times we yell at each other, fight, whatever. At the end of the day, I'm gonna dap you up. I'm gonna text you. Like I'm always gonna be there.
Exactly.
Just like how dad is kind of like, you know what I'm saying, like was like that guy like in his family where when he comes, you know what I'm saying, he's taking care of his mom, doing all these things. I don't take that as like my responsibility to be that guy. But I feel it's really important to me, you know what I'm saying, for everybody to get along, to be on one accord, and for everybody to be moving in a forward direction, whichever direction that y'all going in. I think that's played the biggest impact on me, just coming from a 2-parent household, man. It's everything.
And to that point, like what you said with dad, like dad did that, and just think about it, like he was the youngest for 11 years, and he was like number 7 out of the 10 that grew up in a household, and he always like, I guess I kind of relate to him in that sense, like the things that like his older brothers got into, he saw it, he was like, nah, I ain't doing that, I'm gonna go this route, and I kind of relate to that. Because that's kind of the same way I look at it. Obviously, I'm in a different position. I'm the second oldest out of 6 boys. So I just wanted to get that off. Go ahead, like.
So for me, sort of to piggyback off what Lance said, growing up, our parents, in a loving relationship, married. I want the same thing for myself, but I had an adverse reaction. So, unlike Lance, I haven't been in a relationship in a while. I'm super picky, man. I'm super picky who I want as my partner, who I want to, spend the rest of my life with. So I'm not as ready to jump in relationships. I'm not as Lance, so to speak. But that's how important it is to me. 'Cause I'm not trying to waste my time. I'm not trying to waste nobody else's time. You feel me? Another way, I guess, that a way that they made me or helped me to be the person I am today is just like giving me foundation. I'm a little radical. So man, without them, who knows where I would be right now?
No, you already got the kufi on.
I got the kufi. For those who don't know, this is a kufi. You feel me? This is what our ancestors wore in the west part of Africa. You feel me? So I'm just shouting them out, showing love to them. But yeah, man, just they gave me foundation, a direction, like you guys said, a blueprint, something to follow. And shit, without that, man, probably wouldn't be here.
That's a fact.
One thing for me is, and y'all know, I'm very trial by error type.
Yeah, me too.
Facts.
Like,
This whole family.
I'm the same way.
like
This
you feel-
podcast.
like trial by error.
And I learned by y'all niggas. Straight up.
Right, but like one thing about, and this is also like a lot of how my mind works too, is like I'm gonna ask why and how to everything. I'm always like that. So, and sometimes mom and dad were notorious for if I asked why for something, they were notorious for telling me because I said so, or they'll give me like a surface answer, which 9 times out of 10 because they're your parents, you should listen to.
Right.
I ain't operate like that. Yeah. So it's like, well, if you're not gonna tell me, I'm gonna go figure it out then. And it's easy for me to find resources. I'm a resourceful dude. I can, figure some shit out. And the thing is like even in those type situations, can go towards the broader scope of how they parented. Because it's like they'll give you the freedom and the room to figure shit out,
right.
Grow, see what you want to do. But 2 things: one, they always had a safety net. So that, hey, if you do fall, we got you.
Yep.
And they also had a figurative leash where it's like, if you go too far, I'm yanking your ass back. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, I wanted to know and have knowledge about everything. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. So that's what, kind of drove me to do, different things. So it's like, okay, well, why this? Mm-hmm. You're not going to tell me? Okay, I'll go figure it out. And it's like, even while I had that mindset, I would always have like the type of conversations dad would have with me. I don't know what it is. Like, as I got older, you always think back. I'm just thinking like all the times, like, I'm leaving from like, games at the park and, we driving home, dad coached all of us.
Right. Yeah.
And that's another, our dad was very present
Best
in all
coach
of our
I
lives.
ever had.
Ever. But it's
Ever.
like, he was always
Played college, high school.
very...
All y'all niggas is I'm sorry.
We gonna cut that out?
No, we ain't cutting it out.
Better not cut that out, bro.
talking shit. But nah, like dad was always very, very, very present. And that's, one of the reasons why I wanted to, be more so independent. Because y'all know I used to work my ass off. You know what I'm saying? I had job after job after job, or, I'm working late nights at my, I'm always working. And that's what helped keep me out of trouble, to be 100% honest with you. But at the same time, it was like seeing dad always being able to, he worked his ass off, but he always had time for us. So it's like, he's always coaching our games, and like, as he's coaching our games and we're driving home, oftentimes, I always found myself having conversations with him man to man. And, there's certain things that he would just always tell me, and that regardless of whatever I'm doing, those conversations always rung in the back of my head. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or, just knowing how pure, mom has always been. And for me, like, y'all talk about, school and all that. She had to stop her last semester of college because she was pregnant with me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So she could, like, that's why she couldn't finish until, right before we moved out here, because
Took our Christmas money too.
hey mom, we still need that back, bro. Run it.
All that.
Paid it back in more, just not directly.
Facts.
Run it.
Go ahead.
I can't say
But
nothing.
you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, knowing that,
Austin be doing the same thing to his kids. taking their Christmas money. That's a goddamn shame.
Nah, it balances out. you got a roof over your head, food in the fridge.
See, now you sound just
Clothes
like
on your
that.
back, food on the
You got
table.
clothes on your back, food on the table, and a roof over your
I
head,
don't
boy.
care. I'm gonna use that too.
Yep. Oh yeah.
But go ahead, Jordan. Finish
But
up.
yeah, so like, you know, with that, and I'll tell the story on the podcast later, but y'all know the story about how I even got here in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So we'll talk about that story later. But just knowing some of those things also, it's like I never really wanted to be, no matter what I was doing, I didn't want to disappoint her.
Right.
You know, that's the whole reason why I finished college in the first place. Look, I didn't even do it for me. I
Nah,
did it for
tell
her.
that story. I want to hear that.
What the?
Just the fact that your college story and doing it for her. Tell that
Yeah.
story.
So.
Quickly, though.
So okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I can be very long-winded, and I like to be thorough in my explanations, guys. That's
Drew said,
Talk
don't
your-
be long.
talk your shit.
Don't be.
you know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking my shit.
Hey, we need to make that an ad lib.
Real talk.
Yeah, that's like a button. But nah, so when I moved out here, I made a cognizant decision to be like, you know what, I'm gonna quit all the bullshit. I'm gonna focus on school. You know what I'm saying? And you know, being surrounded by, you know, like my cousin Jasmine and her friends who were all doing well
out to
academically. Shout out, you know what I'm saying? I'm
J-Bo for Clayco.
I gotta get over there. She's still in, man, my child. But what I was about to say, but yeah, you know, being surrounded by them, you know, okay, I want to, you know, succeed and do better academically.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you good. So I did that, you know, junior, senior year. I got my grades right or whatever. Applied to colleges. You know, I got into Emory University. Went to Emory University for a couple of years.
Prestigious school.
You know what I'm saying? And here's how dumb I was. I applied to 4 schools. I applied to Hampton. I applied to Georgia Tech, Emory, and USC in Cali.
Damn, you smart, nigga.
I applied to Clayton State.
Go back real quick. Tell them your SAT scores. Talk your shit, nigga.
All right, so SAT scores were pretty fucking high.
Stop being humble.
Hey man,
Talk your
no
shit.
Yeah, no, I definitely scored near perfect on the math section. Writing and reading was pretty high too. I had
Jordan
like a
is
nice,
the
like
smartest
about a
person
2,000
in this house.
I ain't gonna tell mine.
Shit, me neither.
I needed help getting into school.
But that's one of the reasons why I didn't like school. I've always been smart like that. But anyway, so I got into Emory. But like I said, I got into those 4 schools. Hampton was the only one that gave me damn near a full ride, and I still turned them down to go to Emory.
You got acceptance to USC?
I got accepted to USC. I got accepted to all those schools. I got accepted to all 4. But
Got a lot of rejection letters.
yeah,
I was waitlisted.
no, I only applied to those 4. I got into all 4. But I went to Emory because like, okay, this is, you know, prestigious. They gave me the most money outside of USC. So I was like, okay, we're gonna go there. I'm gonna try to do this. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I didn't do it for the right reasons. Emory didn't work out for me. So I took a semester off. After a while, regathered my bearings, transferred to Georgia State. And there, even then, a couple years, I'll be in college a year or 2, then I have to take a year off, take 2 years off, all that. So it comes to 2014, I'm graduating. I still need 3 classes to finish.
That's crazy.
You know how that goes, you know what I'm saying?
To put the timeline together,
I'm
me and
posting
Lance.
this nigga on my IG talking about congratulations.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
He wasn't even finished, bro.
Jordan
Bruh,
walks,
got the
I walked
whole cap and gown.
I walked in
All
everything. Walked in
took
everything.
pictures and everything.
All of that.
Yep.
Bamboozled.
Now, what is
I
this?
too.
Led astray.
So yeah, I had those 3 classes. But I was like, I'll make them up in the summer. That didn't happen either. And 5 years go by, and finally, I get a job. They have tuition reimbursement. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna take this time to finally do the one thing that my mom has only wanted me to do, and that's to finish college. That's the only thing she ever wanted me to do was finish college.
You did that.
And so what I did was I talked to my dad about it, and we was talking. I said, hey man, so look, you do this. We can. I'll do this. I'll try to keep mom. The fuck?
Hey, just keep going.
Keep going, bro.
It's always these niggas, bro.
Don't pay him no mind.
And so, I did that or whatever. And Dad's like, yes, we're going to do this. We're going to surprise mom. Because we knew, we looked at the schedule. I was like, oh, dang, I'll be done right before Mother's Day. So it's like, yeah, so we're going to, figure it. And Lance, you was in those conversations too.
I know nothing about it.
Yeah, I didn't tell, no one else knew. I didn't tell nobody else.
The only reason why I knew, because I was supposed to finish when you did. It didn't work out.
And we're like, I was on your helmet too, though. I was like, hey, bro, so, text every now and then how you doing your classes, whatever.
I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
He's doing
I ain't going to class.
Every day.
But yeah,
Lance,
so-
you do your homework? Huh?
But I ain't
Went
gonna
to
lie
class
though.
today?
Even that last semester I took though, there was times where I was just like, man, fuck this shit. Like I just didn't care. But every time I said that, I was sitting back. I was like, what are you doing it for? And I actually had like for a little while, I had like a little Post-it, screenshot it as the wallpaper on my phone. So every time I looked at it, the first thing it says, what are you doing this for? And so
Mama.
that's what helped me get back right. So I finally finished those classes. I got out. And so for Mother's Day, I was able to get like they didn't have the degree at the time, but I said, hey, I need y'all to email me like a letter confirming saying that, hey, you're done as of this date, blah, blah, blah. Framed it and surprised shit, all of y'all besides Daddy and Lance.
Oh, it's framed up on the I'm like, he finished? When this happened? Okay.
No idea.
Hey,
Yeah,
that was a dope moment though. I remember how I felt in that moment. Like just the fact that you did it for Mom. I know we pretty much had a whole segment where we talked about you beating our asses, but we just want to clarify, like, our mom is the greatest. Like, it ain't.
Yeah.
Feel me?
I'll
We
do
act like we
whatever I
don't
gotta do
listen.
for
What's
her.
crazy, like, but
act like we don't
nobody
listen.
knew. Like, it wasn't even just
Yeah.
like Lance and Dad knew, and I'm not talking just like in the house. I mean like period.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't know, like even if you know me, like there's probably people who's listening now. They're like, wait a minute, but and like I remember the graduation video. I remember this. Nobody knows this story. I finished. I didn't tell nobody. Like
Right.
that's just the type of dude I am.
That was a
Like,
dope moment.
like I'm very low key chill. I don't run my mouth. I don't talk like that. I do my thing and then I'll let the work speak for itself later. I don't like talking like
And
that.
I honestly, I think that goes back to the topic we had before, where my older brothers are role models. If you didn't finish, I probably wouldn't care about going back to school and finishing.
We talked about that though.
Right, we talked about it. So now that Jordan is done, I definitely do plan on going back to finishing because I know all of my brothers have their degrees. I know my mother, her dream was for all 6 of her boys to have degrees. So it's like, who am I to just say fuck it? You know what I'm saying?
But you ain't out here in the streets, though.
But
I'm not in the
to
streets,
my
but
to
at
my
the same
point
time,
earlier. I'm sorry. Go ahead. At the same time,
it's what mom wants,
Yeah.
and we want to make her, happy and, just do the things that she always dreamed of. She sacrificed so much for us. Why not sacrifice a little bit of our time to go get that degree?
That's very honorable of you.
Yeah. And watching Jordan get his degree, it's like, all right, everybody got it. Let me go get mine too.
Yeah. And I mean, and like I said earlier, like, just make sure, it's something that you want to do in your heart for her. Obviously, we know that it is. But just to the point that we was talking about earlier, as far as like, it don't matter what nobody else think, you got to go on your own path. So
Right.
I don't want to like put any additional pressure on you.
I don't
to
know when
finish school.
I might be 35 when I finish. I don't know when it's gonna happen.
Hey, but
Bro,
at the same time, that's
it's a
what happened with
marathon.
Mom.
It's a marathon, not a
Mom
sprint, bro.
finished, right? It was probably she's probably like 37 when she finished at USC. So I mean, hey, before you run your race, you gotta find your pace. Just make sure you cross the line. For the
That's
time it
another
takes.
one. Before you run your race, you gotta find your pace.
Straight up.
Pace.
But no, I guess for
Okay,
me,
I
go ahead.
was going to wrap up, but like because you were saying like how did how they raised us, whatever, how that
How it
affected our
affected our
upbringing.
upbringing.
Like it's like the way they like the things I took from them weren't necessarily the direct things they always told us. Well, with Dad, conversations and stuff, but it was always like little things that you wouldn't expect to be nuggets in your brain that always jog back. Okay, Mom had me. She didn't.
Yeah.
We be listening to y'all, man. We just
You know
act
what I'm
like
saying?
we don't.
Just little stuff like that. I just wish, sometimes, when I asked why, I just gave me straight answers. I wouldn't have to knock my head so many goddamn times.
You just gonna knock your head regardless.
It's in your blood.
Hey, I am pretty hard headed, but hey, man,
Hard headed.
look, man.
But no, I'm gonna go in a different direction. Mine, obviously, Mom and Dad get pretty much. If you had a little pie chart, they getting more than half of the pie chart as far as like how I turned into like what I turned into today. As far as like me seeking a relationship, which you spoke about earlier.
Right.
But for me, it's kind of weird because it kind of like came full circle almost earlier today. But like as a kid, I used to like be creative. I used to always like to draw.
This nigga, he can
Like I would like sketch out like my own pair of like Nike shoes. I used to draw. I used to like write stuff. Like I used to always be like creative. And I don't know, kind of like along the way, I don't know if I like lost it or just kind of like got focused on building that foundation. Kind of like what I spoke to earlier, as far as like, let me get the foundation straight first. But like kind of now, I'm starting to like rediscover my creativity in my creative zone and like things that I want to do.
Yeah.
This is why I was saying like I admire y'all. Like y'all, like man, I'll sacrifice all this other shit. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Right.
You know what's crazy is like, I mean, I've been on this, grind as far as 10 years. It ain't pretty. First of all, this is nothing to glorify.
Yeah, my bookstore.
Man,
Check my bookstore.
So many.
Check
of
my
them.
bookstore.
Check my
Man,
bookstore.
I got an LLC for every member of this family. All of them are dead. But I think that like even as an entrepreneur, someone who's like been on that road, like man, the stability look real good, bro. I ain't gonna lie, that junk looks delicious.
It looks so good.
It looks
5
good.
course.
It looks
Juicy. Ribeye right now.
They gonna hold you,
good.
bro.
So I mean, everybody got their race.
Yeah, I mean, this is the path I'm on. I don't regret my path
Yeah.
and all that. But I mean, for the past, especially like the couple years,
Yeah.
I don't want to keep repeating the same shit over and over again. But the past 2 years, like I said, it's been shifting me, and I'm like, yo, like this life is too short for me to just be
Facts.
working a job that I'm not happy with, just to get bills paid and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, I'm starting to rediscover my creative zone that y'all been in for a while. And as I was like rediscovering it, it's almost like I was finding like who I was again.
It feel good, don't it?
It feels great. I was just telling Shannon the other day, I was like, man, if you ever want to figure out who you are, figure out who you were.
Yeah, facts.
So
That's a
that-
bar.
Hold on. Stop. That's a bar. Let's stop real quick.
I'm getting all of that.
A moment of silence. And then say that one more time. I just want to be able to cut it. Like say it one more time. Look directly at the camera.
if you want to figure out who you are, you got to figure out who you were.
Good.
But nah, so I told her that. We was talking the other night, just having deep conversations, which is like something I enjoy. So like starting to discover things I enjoy and like try to find a way to translate it. Like I kind of like, I was cooking this morning and I was like, you know what? I haven't thanked God for helping me like rediscover like what it is that I'm truly like passionate about and enjoy and things like that. So like in that moment, like I thank God for helping me do that. And I sit at the table getting ready to eat. And since it's Sunday, I'm like, yo, let's read a Bible scripture today. And I scroll to the left on my phone to get that verse of the day from the Bible app. The verse is, commit your actions to the Lord and your plans will succeed. So I was like, yo, like ain't no better feeling than to get confirmation from God, like what you're doing is like the right way. So we went and like read the scripture. It's all type of gems in there. I think after reading it this morning, it's probably like my favorite scripture like in the Bible. period.
What chapter is it in?
Proverbs 16.
Proverbs, yeah.
Proverbs 16. So I said all that to say, just kind of like my upbringing, like my parents, they kind of like fed into like my creative zone. Like they allowed me to explore and just try things and do things and stuff like that. And in, I guess, to get my stability, I sacrificed all that, and I almost like forgot. I had a period in my life where I'm like, yo, like, why am I here? Like, what am I doing? Like, am I just taking up space, or like, what am I doing? What am I gonna do to make an impact?
Right.
And now that that's like kind of awakening inside me, I just thought it was like interesting. Like, I made this topic list yesterday, so I didn't even know this was about to come out, but like, it's just confirmation, as I said. So I just think it's real dope that I was able to kind of figure out like what my upbringing was, like how it led to like what I am today, how it just kind of like came to me just on like a random.
That's a really big bar. I think that's the biggest thing that mom and
Drew
dad
had a
allowed us
bar
to
at the
do.
end of the episode, last episode too.
Drew, he might need to be a ghostwriter for real. But that's such a big bar. You remind me, that's the biggest thing that our parents gave us, was the ability to discover like who we are.
Yeah.
And on that note, like I'm so glad that each of you guys are digging into your stuff. Obviously, it's not completely solidified for everybody.
Right.
But I was thinking earlier when, hey, Jordan, you said something about, we were saying something about just like discovering who you are. And I wanted to tell you, I don't know if I ever said this, but I want to say it on record. I know at some point like, you were very passionate about dance, and I used to roast on you all the time. You know what I'm saying? You was up at the, you know what I'm saying? You was doing that everywhere, and I used to roast on you. And I wish you would have kept doing it, man. Like I wish you would have kept going. Every time I see a dance commercial or like you know what I'm saying, an Apple commercial where dude was on the sidewalk doing all that crazy stuff, like I just picture you doing that. And I you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I contributed to stifling that dream or like your creative expression. But you know what I'm saying? I just want to put that out there. If that's something that you're still passionate about or whatever it is, man, like, man, go for it. Don't let any joke stop you.
I am 32 years old.
It's a wrap.
and my body feels like it.
Well, whatever it is, man. I just look at Lance and like, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, there are people along your journey who might have better ideas for what you want to do. But Lance is like, no, I'm interested in rap. I'm interested in rap. And those first few songs, they're not nearly as good as what he's producing right now. And if at any moment he would have stopped, then he would have never got to this level of you know what I'm saying, producing good stuff. So that goes for all y'all, man. Like eventually your graphics, man, your video editing stuff is going to be fire. Whatever you guys want to do, continue to lean into it.
Yes.
Sort of piggyback off what Drew was saying. Another thing that our parents did a really good job with us is introducing us to God, to giving us a relationship with Him. Like we talk about all the different things that kept us out of trouble. For me personally, if it wasn't for my relationship with Jesus Christ, man, every day I'm like, man, fuck this shit, man. Let me hit this check cash in place real quick. I swear, every time I have little battles with myself, and I just think back, man, you better than this. Know who you are. Know who your God is. And just always keeping Him first. You're gonna find things about yourself that you never knew, just like what Drew said. You feel me? Or you know, re-figure out some things that you forgot.
Facts. So, exactly. And I mean, that's just to piggyback off that. I mean, we sit here pretty much every episode. We say, you know, our parents are the reason why we got to where we are today. But before that, it's God.
Facts.
So, you know, just giving Him all the glory, all the credit for placing us in these positions to prosper. And, you know, like I said, just this picture alone is something unique. It's five boys who grew up in the same household, and being able to sit here today and have meaningful discussions on a podcast that we're trying to push. I think that's dope. It's a lot of, you know, people who have families, like even my dad's family was broken. How many of them died now? Like 4? Like
4.
Just like a couple on some street shit, drug shit, like
it's all street shit at the end of the day.
Yeah, like broke, like that shit, like the environment that we came from, it's like a hotbed to create broken homes. And I mean, that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day, because you could really dive deep into it, especially for the black community, as far as like the things basically that what's the word I'm looking for?
That tear us down.
Yeah, like it's the system is designed for us to fail, for sure. And a lot of us fell victim to that system. And just, you know, I think it's a success no matter where we are in life that we're able to come here and do this.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Which I don't want to be the one to close every episode. So
I thought that was a good note to close on. You the host, nigga. Put your foot down.
Close that shit.
better than nobody.
I gotta pee. Talk your shit.
All right, well, so that was a good place to close. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Like I said, episode 3, track 3. This is where it all begins. This is like the true beginning of the album, except it's the podcast. So,
hey man, some of the dopest songs are the first and second track though.
It is.
Like, even though I feel what you're saying,
There's always an intro.
It's not every album.
Skip the intro.
Not every
Second
album.
song. All right, that third song.
It's always
Going
that third.
I would say I would say you know how good the album is gonna be by the third song. I'll put it
That's
that
where
way.
the album starts.
You know how good the album's gonna be by the
On
third
a lot
song.
of them, obviously, there's some exceptions out there. Ain't no need to dive deep into that, but yeah. So this the one right here. Hope y'all enjoyed it.
Keep God first.
Real quick, y'all make sure y'all follow us on the page, _the Mac 5.
Hey, Austin.
Oh, you about to edit the next one.
Y'all make sure y'all follow us on all the pages, Instagram and Twitter. We're on both of those. If you have any,
I don't know how much of
on
this
YouTube
video
yet?
to cut out again. So we gonna have to figure this. We
I thought
working
you said
hard.
it wasn't gonna cut out.
I don't know what happened. We gonna find out after
Follow
this shit over
and
with.
All right,
subscribe.
but yeah, y'all follow us on
Hey,
YouTube.
trial
all
and error.
that.
Subscribe.
Trial and error. We said on the first episode, as we grow, y'all gonna grow with us, and y'all gonna grow through these YouTube kinks that we having right now.
Yeah.
We gonna get it.
We're gonna make a little blooper reel.
If
I
y'all-
done bought this expensive ass camera to try to get this shit right, and it's still not right. So
We're gonna get it right, man.
I'm gonna figure it out.
It's gonna get right.
How much
And if
did
y'all
we
got
get though?
any
Did we get a lot?
questions, comments, y'all have any topics y'all want us to touch on as far as, you know, perspectives of how,
Feedback.
our brothers will look at it.
Feedback.
Y'all can hit us up at the Gmail as well. The Mac 5, the Mac, and then the number 5, IVE
Y'all better not email us.
gmail.com. You know what I'm saying? Hit us up. You know what I'm saying? We want y'all feedback.
Yeah, we're gonna start putting the handles and stuff and all that, or as Lake say, handlers.
I thought we moved on from that.
But anyway, that was a long ass close. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We out, Mac 5
You won't
Bros.
believe me if I told you I'm a star in the making. Get more support from unfamiliar faces. No, I don't strive to be famous, but I'm not blocking any blessings. If that shit is up for offer, then you know I'ma take it. It got a few stipulations about my soul. I never give it to Satan at all. Money really be the reason that some of you fall. Doing shit just for abundance. But fuck what y'all been doing, cause I know my time is coming. I've been running and running. I came this far and I'm not seeing any reason.